How's it going, YouTube? TagSaleFinds here. I'm making a three-part video. The first part is going to be a get to know me. The second part is going to be a question and answering, and the third part is going to be a question I have that I wanted to hear your guys' feedback and thoughts on. The first part, to get to know me, my name's Chris. I started flea markets and picking probably about, I'd say, 6 to 8 years ago. I originally started in sports cards and dealt with those for numerous years since I was a young kid. Um, I've done all the sports card shows, eBay. I still have an eBay account that I do my buying and selling of sports cards on. I don't do it as much anymore because of the picking, how much time I have to put into this and the research. The cards, I pretty much can pick it up right off the top of my head and I know. So I kind of tried to manage 50-50, but it's definitely splitting me down the middle, and I tend to focus more on the picking now just because there's so much more out there than just cards, and I definitely enjoy doing both. The main reason I got started into the picking was due to a couple people at a card show. I was actually set up doing some card shows, and somebody asked me if I've ever done a flea market, which at the time I kind of knew what they were, but I wasn't very interested in setting up at a flea market just because of the merchandise I had. But I gave it a shot one time, set up, and I ended up doing pretty well because I was probably the only one, if not maybe one or two others, that were selling sports cards. So people were kind of surprised to see them, and when they did, they either walked right by real quick, or if they stopped, they actually were going through, taking their time, and were definitely interested. So while setting up, I would walk around and look at other people's booths, and again, nobody had cards, so I kind of skimmed through. But every now and then, I would see something I really liked. I thought, hey, this is definitely worth more than what they have on it, or I would be willing to pay more. So I'd pick it up and I'd take it back to my booth, and I'd price it and set it back out with just the cards I had, and typically the items will sell. So over time, I kind of tried to learn different things here and there, and kind of picked up on what would sell, how quick it would sell, and moved more towards the picking now. Um, like I said, I still do the sports cards. I don't do it as much as I used to, and I don't do it as much as I'd like. I definitely need to get back into it because that was another hobby of mine that I really enjoyed, and it was fairly easy. So now in the next part of the video, this is, oh, and if you guys have any other questions that you guys would like to know about me or comments, please leave them below. Now the next part, the question answering. The first question I get the most, and this, I mean, these typically go with both. I got these a lot with my sports cards, and I get these now with the picking. Where do you get your shipping supplies? Well, for sports cards, the bubble mailers and everything, there's a bunch of dealers where I go that have extremely cheap bubble mailers, right around 15 to 20 cents a piece, so I buy them in bulk every time I go. As far as boxing, my dad works at a packaging company, so any boxes that are misprinted or cut wrong, quantities that were ordered that were just overfilled and the company didn't need, that are going to be recycled, I can typically get. So that helps out a lot. If you guys are looking for boxes, I'd call around any stores that do a lot of unboxing or stocking, like Walmart's, Kroger's, Myers. Big retail shops, just call them, ask them if you can come in maybe once a week or speak with the manager to set up a time to come in and get some boxes. Typically they'll let you. The next question is, what shipping service do you use? I've never used anything but USPS, just because normally, like I said, I did the cards, and now I never really have anything too big. I've heard the horror stories of FedEx and USPS, or not USPS, but UPS, so I tend to stay away from them. I've never actually tried shipping through there. And like I said, from the horror stories, I tend to stay away from that, so my best suggestion is just stick with USPS. The next question, what kind of camera do you use? Oh, I normally use whatever's in my hand, really. Right now I'm recording off of my MacBook Pro. I've used the iPad, I use my iPhone, and I have a JVC handheld camera. I also have the Sony Handycam. So I have a lot of options, and typically whatever, like I said, whatever's around, and if I'm gonna have to shoot a video, I'll grab. I did also do videos before on YouTube for my sports cars. I used to buy, sell, and trade through YouTube and make videos, so I've always had some type of camera set up that I've had to use. The next question, where do you sell your items at or on? Like I said, I've done shows for quite a few years now, so that's a big option for me, and mainly just eBay. I do some on Craigslist, and I've looked at Amazon. I don't have anything on Amazon as of now, but that could be an option for me in the future. But for now, like I said, eBay's doing all right for me, and if my inventory gets too much, I typically just go to a flea market and will get rid of the stuff there just so I can clear up some space and put some new stuff in the eBay store. The last question, what should I start my items at on eBay? I don't know. I've heard all the different, tips and tricks of starting your item that ends in 88 cents, making sure your item ends between 8 and 11 o'clock on a Sunday, making sure it doesn't end in a holiday. I've heard it all. I don't have any real experience that shows, a better time or a better price. I definitely gave everything a shot that everybody said. I've had items listed, start out at a penny and do a 7-day auction. I've started them out at a penny and done the 1-day auction. I've had a 30-day store. I've had them end in the afternoon, late at night, early in the morning, the weekends, weekdays, first of the month, end of the month. Again, for me, I don't have any real set time that it needs to be listed that shows me that I'll do better if I put the items up at this time. So typically, once I get back from buying whatever it is I'm out picking for the day, I'll come home, do a little bit of research, clean anything, put batteries in, whatever needs to be done to the items, and then typically I just post them right to eBay from there. So, like I said, it's up to you. I would definitely just, if you're into the research thing, do a little research on your own, see what happens for you. But as far as I'm concerned, I'll put them up just whenever I get it, whenever I have time. Alright, and the last part of this video I wanted to ask you guys is the thought on returning merchandise to a retail store that you picked. I've worked in retail quite a few years ago, and we would have a lady who would come in, because we had a 90-day return policy. She would come in with bags and bags and bags full of clothes. She would always come in and she would buy our clothes when they were on sale, and she would bring them back 2.5 months later, still with the receipt. She would keep the receipt, and she would return everything. For the longest time, I had no idea what she was doing, and this was before I was into picking, so I really wasn't paying attention. But over time, I kind of realized now what she was doing. She was buying stuff from retail shops that she would take back to her consignment booth or flea markets or whatnot, and she would try to sell them to make more money. Whatever didn't sell, she would just return and she would get her money back. So I kind of thought about it, and it's kind of like a win-win situation. You really can't lose, because if the item doesn't sell, you can always take it back and you'll have your initial investment from what you started with. So I was just kind of wanting to see anybody's thoughts out there on what they thought about that. It, to me, seemed like a lot of work, but again, on the other hand, if you could buy some clothes, say at, I don't know, $5 a piece, and we're selling them for 15 at a flea market or something, it seems like a no-brainer. And then if what doesn't sell for the next 2 months, you could always take back and get your money back and do it again. So just leave comments below, or if you guys are interested, make a response video. Let me know just your thoughts on doing that. And one other quick thing, relating back to the questions of what should I start my items out on eBay. The only thing I've noticed really for me is the shipping. I'm starting a new thing where I'm trying all shipping is free. I've listed quite a few things, numerous things that I would list at, say, $9.99 with $4.99 for shipping, and I would get absolutely no maybe 5-6 views per item, and they would do horrible. And recently I put items up for $14.99, and they would sell with free shipping. So same price but free shipping. People were buying it. I'm not sure if that's people are just looking like the initial cost. Oh, plus I gotta pay shipping. I'm not sure, but that would be one of the things I have noticed is that I tend to sell a lot more items with free shipping. I'm not sure. Again, it could be because people are trying to search with the advanced search and they're clicking on free shipping. So that would be my only main suggestion for now that I know for me that personally works to increase sales. So again, if you guys have any questions about me, comments that you want to leave, questions about anything I do, please leave comments below. And as always, rate, comment, and subscribe.